Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started on our next multiplayer matchup. I'm going to be playing as the Adepta Sororitas. I know I haven't been giving them very much love lately, so I figured we should try some of those against the Tau. We're going to be playing a 2,000 point Exterminatus mission on the bridge here. It's a 10 turn limit with a 100 point target, so it should be a fun mission. We're going to have to try to figure out ways to engage the Tau forces to be able to snipe them down. I think the secret to this is going to be using our Seraphim, so that's what I'm going to put as our backbone here. But I have two Sister Superior, I have two Hospitallers, I have 4 Sacred Saints, I have 4 Seraphim with the Infernal Pistols, 1 Sister Repentia because I had 90 points left, 2 Penitent Engines, and then 2 Paragon Warsuits with their default Heavy Bolter. My thought is with them is I can use their rocket attacks, because 2 of them together should be able to take out any sort of, I forget what they're called, breachers with their shotguns, because they're going to be the main thing that can counter my Seraphim here. Now the big thing with the Seraphim is remember that their jetpack cooldown is 2 turns, some of them are 3 turns, so just keep that in mind. And I'm going to try to use the Sacred Saints to tank a bunch of shots if possible. And then they should be able to get additional armor with their special ability here. The Seraphim should allow me to move in and either snipe vehicles if he goes with the heavy mech army, or his ethereal, or his commanders. The big thing that's going to put them at the most risk though is if he decides to target them down with his missile attacks, if he goes with crisis suits, or if he has a heavy flame army, I should say. So it looks like, and he does in fact look like he's probably going to have that, so he's got 2 commanders and at least 1 crisis suit over here. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to position these guys so they don't get attacked. I also need to be very careful that I don't lock all my guys together so he doesn't just come over here, jump down with his 2 commanders and just snipe all my units down. That could be pretty catastrophic if that happens. So we just gotta kind of position ourselves around. What kind? Yeah, see, he's got a flamer there too, so we gotta be very careful with how we position these guys so we don't get ourselves into trouble. Move these Celestians into the front line. Okay, yeah. So he's got at least 2 cadres over there. So we'll just kind of space these guys out this way. And if he does engage me,
what is your will?
I can then use these guys to lock down that commander, get good attacks, and chop them down. So we'll see what they end up doing.
No room for doubt.
Put these guys together here, so if he tries to jump around them, you should get double attacks, and the Seraphim should be able to attack before he gets behind you.
Our shields shall protect the worthy.
That one's out in the open, so it's not getting as many penalties as the other one is, so we'll have her use their ability to get additional armor and 10% bonus health. Now I'm just trying to decide, do I want to keep closing the gap or do I want to keep using their abilities? And I think I want to just use their abilities, hoping that I can bait him out here, because if he gets baited out and kills the Sister Repentia and then all the other Sacred Saints can charge him, then I should be able to kill that commander, and that's definitely money well spent. Now we know he's got 2 cadres over here, so that usually means he's going to have some expensive vehicles or something. Because when people bring cadres, it's usually for their guaranteed attacks. Although if you do a heavy Pathfinder build, then it sometimes makes sense to bring them too, because you can get additional 25% attacks using their abilities. So we'll just heal these guys up here. Pull you back, because I really need to keep the Hospitaller alive, because she's 1 going to heal for us obviously, and 2, she has that ability to give a unit 2 attacks. So if I can put those on our Seraphim, that's going to allow us to do some pretty serious damage here. I just got to be very careful with these Sister Superiors, because they can easily get themselves killed. So I'll bring the Paragons up here. And then I'm going to use the Litany of Devotion, which is going to give 30 momentum and 15 bonus HP. And I'm just going to give it to the Paragons here, because at least I can heal the Sacred Saints, but I can't heal the Warsuits. So I think it's just a safer option to do that.
Duty awaits at the front.
And I'm just kind of moving these guys around with the hope that if he ends up jumping, that they can start getting shots with their cannons here. Or heavy bolters, I guess I should call it. They don't really have autocannons. And I also want to pull back my sister superior here, because I need her to be able to keep buffing my guys and to snipe any guys that are close to being dead. Now, unfortunately, I don't really see any breachers or pathfinders, other good units that would be fun to snipe. And it's like, do I move these ones up? And I think I'm going to. So we see he's got stealth suits. Now, interestingly, he has the burst cannon with him. Most people use the fusion blaster, so I could see that being somewhat useful, I guess, against you know, weaker armored units. But I'm not sure it's going to make a lot of sense going against the sisters, because I mean, other than the Repentia, I think it's going to have a little bit of trouble getting through everybody else. But we'll see. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong here. Nothing else, he can really annoy me by turning him invisible. Problem with the Penitent Engine, though, is he is very easy to snipe down with pretty much everybody. So I'm going to move her up, and I'm going to use a Litany of Devotion here because I just need these Seraphim to stay alive. You know, because now I'm kind of hoping to run up there and assassinate those cadres. If he engages me, we'll give them the bonuses too, because we're going to end up obviously taking quite a bit of fire. And I'm just trying to debate, do I want to retreat with the Penitent Engine? But if I'm holding the front line with these other guys here, I need to be very cautious that he doesn't trigger the Overwatch and make me use the Heavy Flamer on my own guys. So that's how I'm trying to figure out how I want to position these guys to try to minimize the Overwatch friendly fire here. Yeah, so the commander on the left is who he's got here, so I'm thinking he's probably going to jump me on this left side, so I'll pull the Sister Repentia back, because I think if I use their bonus attack and then give them a second attack, that should be able to kill one of those commanders in one turn. I just got to be very careful with my hospital in the back there. That's my HQ unit, because I don't want that to get one shot killed, because I'm going to need these abilities, I suspect. Now, interesting, he has a Riptide. I don't see a lot of players use the Riptide. It's definitely a very good unit, but for all the points and things that it costs, I just find it difficult to get the maximum amount of it, so I killed one of the guys with a free attack. They're shooting into there. What do we got here? Breachers or Pathfinders? I think those are Breachers. Nope, Pathfinders. Oh, he's got the regular Pulse Carbine on. Alright, so he's deciding he just wants to take out my whole side here, it looks like. Which I guess isn't wrong, because he's going to have a lot more maneuverability than me. But what he's doing with these weak attacks is he's just increasing their momentum, which is going to make them even harder to kill. Now, this is a huge mistake for him, as he's triggering these overwatches with my Seraphim here. So, I mean, now that guy's almost halfway dead, and this guy's now getting overwatches. So, go ahead and kill those Seraphim. I don't even care anymore, because if I can take out 240 points worth of stuff in exchange for one Seraphim, that's a huge boon for us. But as you can see, with that 100% hit chance for the Flamer, that's a bad day. Now, thankfully, the Sacred Saints have enough armor that they can tank a little bit of those shots. Likewise, they can easily survive the attacks from the Pathfinders without having their ion cannons on. Now, of course, the cadres are able to easily snipe down my guys here. See, they're even using their abilities, but because of how much armor these guys have with their abilities, they're barely doing any damage. And now he's close enough that I should be able to run in here with these guys. I can heal them up, and I can get a bonus attack, and I can use them to run in here and get rear attacks on their other guys. So I might actually be able to kill both of his commanders here with how he's positioned this. So I'm going to run up and try to buff her further. Yep, so now she's got additional damage here. So that one only has 80 health. And then I can get to the back and do rear attacks here. And then that'll also allow me to lock all of his units down in melee while I'm shifting the rest of my forces to the other side.
With faith, we will conquer the galaxy.
Now I should be able to start taking out some of these breachers, which he has on Overwatch. So I can move in with my other Seraphim. So yeah, even with their buffs with Ethereal, 2 of those Frag Cannon shots will still be enough to take him out. So now he's left that whole side open for me. So I'm a little sad to move these ones up because they almost got killed, but thankfully the obstacles here with the bridge took out a lot of the missile attacks. So now that one's down. So that's huge for us. And we're going to pull them back because I need these ladies to survive. So then we can heal them with these other ones here. Now they're back up to full health, so that's huge.
What is your will?
And let's move these guys up to start getting some rear attacks on the other commander unit. And the good thing is the one that was on the left there was his HQ unit, so now I'm getting these kills and he's not getting any points. So that was 138, and I should be able to do that again. Yeah, 134, so now he's down to 70. And this, she's ready to be flown up here because I didn't use her flight before. So now we'll be able to kill a second commander here, which is stops him from getting that 10% accuracy and range damage. And I just took out 26% of his forces. So it's like, do I keep them in front here to just attack everybody? Now, thankfully, he only has one flamer on these crisis suits, and the other one's got just a burst cannon. But I think I just need to try to pull back, because he should have a little bit of difficulty getting through my Sacred Saints with how close they are. Now, part of me wants to attack those damn drones, but I think I need to try to keep pulling these back as much as I can to try to keep them alive. She's pretty injured, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. But my thought is, you know, I should be able to pull these other Seraphim back. I can start shifting all these other forces down to try to get to the other bridge. Because they're not going to be able to do anything where they are now. We'll run you over. I don't want to use your jetpack, because if he advances on me, then hopefully the following turn I can use their jetpack to get across to the other side. So let's just keep moving, then we gotta get the hospital back, because I don't want him to end up putting that auto hit on the Riptide and having him shoot across the pathway there and killing her. Because what I want is to save up those points so I can also get additional movement. I think that's going to be the key with the sisters to doing a bunch of extra damage, unless you got them locked in the open. Then I suppose using your level 1 ability to increase your range damage and accuracy will be helpful, especially against the ethereal abilities, but with the increased evasion. But I think for the most part, I'm going to get the most bang for my buck by getting that movement buff, because it lasts a couple turns, and it's going to allow me to move the rest of these guys into position. So let's see what he does here. So he's getting the extra attacks. He gave the 100% chance to hit, so now he's going to be able to assassinate those guys straight out. So as you can see, the Riptide does do good damage. And it does good damage to pretty much everything. But, yeah, see, the missiles are hitting obstacles here. That tends to happen the most with these crisis suits. In fact, I've lost a match because of that, especially on the city. That happens a lot. Or on the bridge here with those railings, so you gotta be very, very careful. But it's very frustrating, because it'll be times where there'll be guys hiding behind full cover and your missiles will go through the cover and just take them out. Like if you watch the match where I was first doing a playthrough with against the Space Marines on the Fortress when I was playing as Tau. You know, they were behind heavy cover, and I was still able to get, you know, 100% accuracy and attack them. Whereas in this case here, it's like it's getting hit by the cover. So it's unpredictable. It's definitely RNG, and that doesn't always feel good when that happens. But we're just kind of moving these guys back so I can start getting some heals going. But thankfully, because so many of those missiles ended up getting hit, I can just pull these ladies back here, and I still want to actually heal them more than I do the Sister Superior, because with their increased movement and things, now that I'm up to 2 command points, the following turn I should be able to use that movement buff. So now I just need to move everybody and glob them together. Hopefully he'll continue to advance on me, and if he does, then I can then counter-initiate everything with that increased movement.
What is your will?
I will not fail.
Because I don't know, I just don't think the Pathfinders without their ion cannons are worth it. I mean, it's nice to have that increased range for their marker ability. But, you know, you can get the same thing with the Fire Warriors, and then they get a pretty high armor-piercing weapon too that just seems to work a little better, so not sure. So we're just kind of positioning our guys all around here, getting them grouped together, so we can end up starting to do some overwatch or counter-initiation once we get the increased movement here.
Yes.
I'm just trying to decide how far forward I want to advance. I mean, I just don't want that Riptide to keep getting 100% kills, because it can pretty much kill probably anything other than the Penitent engines
We serve.
with that 100% attack that I've got on the field here. Now the good thing is because I've been able to slaughter the guys that have been his HQ command, I'm stopping him from getting the special ability, so he's not able to drop missiles on top of me. And it's stopping him from summoning a crisis suit, because he should technically be able to summon that, because if I've got 2 points, he should have 2 points. But as of right now, we're still able to keep things together. Now I just want to get my Sister Superiors kind of into position so they can use their buffs here when I want to counter-initiate the following turn. So that's kind of my thought process here.
I defy their existence.
And if I have to use the Sister Superior to bait attacks versus the other Seraphim, I'd rather do that, so we'll see what we can do here. So the Cadre's coming out. He's got good armor piercing, so he's able to hit those ladies pretty good. Sounds like he is advancing us. Got more missiles. Only one made its way through, though, because it's hitting all those obstacles.
Prepare yourselves, sisters. The heretics scout us. Prepare yourselves, sisters. The heretics scout us. Prepare yourselves, sisters. The heretics scout us.
So it looks like he did advance, just looking at the Auspex readings there. So what I'll do is use the Penitent engine to run along the ledge here to try to get some line of sight. I think that's probably the best way of doing it, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get him into combat. So yeah, he advanced everybody forward. He's got those guys out in front. And I'm guessing the other cadre that's farther away, hiding in the back, must be his commander. So let's get some heals going. Unfortunately, the battle rights are still on cooldown, but I can use this. I could charge, but they're probably going to get suppressed, so that's, I think, a really bad idea. I've got 2 Seraphim now that are on full momentum, so they'll have 2 attacks. Plus they have increased crit, so this will work pretty well. And then if I activate this, I get +2 movement, which almost gets me all the way onto that cadre's face. So that should be pretty impressive. And then I can lock down those other forces here. So let's get our movement going here, because that's going to for sure allow me to close the distance. So let's drop that with how wide our range is. So let's move up with our Penitent engines. Now I can see everybody. So Burst Cannon, Riptide still in the back here.
What is your will?
So, I'm just trying to decide how I want to position these guys. Because I want them to soak up as much Overwatch as they possibly can. So I can get those Seraphim into areas. So that worked. And it's like, I just trying to decide how I want to put them here. Yeah, so that's what I thought. The burst cannon's not able to do a whole lot. The Riptide shooting through everybody else, so he had reduced accuracy, so it actually worked out really well. Because that Riptide's the one I'm most worried about. Now, she has the battle rights, but I don't think using the battle rights actually stacks once you have full momentum, but maybe it does because it doesn't show 2. I think how it will bug out is if you end up using the battle rights and then you surge, because it doesn't go to 3 is I think how that works. I think it caps out at 2, so we're going to come up here, and then we're going to use Battle Sermon to get 15% range damage buffs. And then we're going to get increased momentum. And that will allow them to soak up some Overwatch. Because I still am a little worried about that. So we'll run these ones up, see if we can trigger that other Overwatch. And we'll trigger the Cadre. No, the other one is too far away. Now let's smack down that Cadre here, because I would like to kill him. I'd also like to heal those Seraphim. So that'll take me all the way over to here. So that should, if I do attack at 2, I think it's like a 70% accuracy. I can bring these ladies up here, bring them up to here. That'll be 2 attacks per model. So that should still be pretty good damage. Alright, they sucked up the other Cadre. Yeah, so it's 17 to 23 times 4. And now I can surge, so this should allow me to kill the Cadre. Alright, excellent. Works. Pretty pleased with that.
What is your will? Yes.
So now, let's move you up to here. Get a second attack there. Now I can run you up to here and do 2 attacks.
With faith, we will conquer the galaxy.
I can run you up there and start meleeing down those drones. This one has increased movement because of the momentum, so I could actually spend one of my action points to get to here, then surge, and then get full attacks. I think that should allow me to still get the kill. And if not, I could follow it up with those other ladies here. And they certainly will be able to get the kill. And then if I keep them here, that should allow us to lock down that Riptide too, so he can't escape, or he spends a turn killing him.
My skills are unmatched.
Yeah, 80% because they're right next to it. Yep. All right, nice. So I killed the Ethereal. Now we've locked these guys down.
We serve.
Crisis suit with the flamer is going to be an issue. I think we're going to move the Seraphim down along the wall here to try to keep them alive. Because if nothing else, I can keep using them to do these back and forth attacks to lock guys down. Now, I was thinking I wanted to come after the Riptide, but maybe I just move them down to here and I start focusing down the Flamer, because they're gonna be the #1 killer of my Seraphim at this point in time, because I think he only has 1 round of rockets left. And then once we take these guys out, then there's the Riptide. The rest of these guys I should pretty easily be able to kill. Alright, so they're almost down. We took out 1 model.
We serve.
Turn those guys.
What is your will?
Who needs my aid?
Now I can get you the momentum and HP, because I just need you to be tanky and survive. If I run you up to here, I can then melee the drones.
We seek his enemies.
And that may help open another avenue for us.
We are his judgment.
Yeah. So now they're almost dead.
None shall best me.
Honestly, I could probably just run up here with the Sister Superior, because she just needs to land 2 attacks, and that should kill those drones as well. Yeah, that should work. Excellent, and she got the bonus attack. So now the question is do I advance her another square, trying to kill another crisis suit? Do I pull you back? I think we want to advance. At 75% chance to hit. Unfortunately, she's going after the one that's got quite a bit of health. So we'll pull you back. And we'll try to get the next Sister Superior kind of into position too.
With faith, we will conquer the galaxy. In penance,
Now we've
we
got
seek
the hospital
redemption.
there. Now the other thing is I still have these ladies
Our
here.
duty awaits at the
So I
front.
guess had I positioned these guys a little better to get the buffs from the other Sister Superior,
Without
then I
mercy.
could attack these guys better. Oh, okay, so maybe you'll be able to get some attacks. 55, probably not. Ugh, 1 health left.
None shall best me.
Alright, so we got the sisters. So I think what we gotta do is
Our
just
lives
move
are
the
the
hospitals
Emperor's
around
to spend.
here to be able to
Closer to redemption
keep
or
healing
closer
our
to death,
units, because they're definitely
whichever
getting taken
he
out.
favors.
I gotta be a little careful with my Repentia, because they can easily be killed by that flamer. And ideally I'd like them to be able to run up and damage pretty much anybody that they can get into contact with. Keep those guys back here. I just don't want to make it a 2-block, which would then allow him to flame multiple units with that crisis suit. So we'll just bring them behind the penitent engines probably.
With faith, we will.
Although if I deactivate this, then I can just move them up another square, and then that'll force
We seek his enemies.
those crisis suits to not be able to move, and now I've just totally nullified those guys. So I think with that I've just guaranteed our victory, and in fact we did, because the other player ended up conceding, unfortunately. I usually ideally would like to see what they at least do on their turn, because then you can see, but I guess if you know you're going to lose, then you can just concede too. I get it both ways. I typically think that it works well. Now I think what they end up doing is that just like the other player ends up leaving, and so he didn't really concede, but I'm not quite sure what happens there, because sometimes you get to see the turn and sometimes you don't, so it's a little confusing to me. But definitely a fun match. I think that strategy works out really well against the Tau forces, because you've got several guys that have a lot of armor. Now if he had more breachers, that would have made that strategy significantly more difficult, because the breachers have a perfect range at 1, and then you throw on their marker lights on top of that, and they throw those grenades that lower your evasion and everything else, and the breachers are probably going to be able to 1 or 2 shot your Seraphim down, which were definitely the MVPs here. I think you could also make an argument with using some rhinos so you can pop smoke, and then also use immolators for the flamers, and then drop other guys in their face, either additional flamers, or if you have melee, you can drop the Seraphim in, things like that, or not Seraphim, the Sacred Saints, to lock guys down, or if you have the Canonist. But there's a high probability that they're going to bring a broadside with some cadres that are going to have 100% accuracy, or hammerheads. So I just find that most times, especially if they're doing like a heavy stealth suit build too with their fusion blasters, it just seems like vehicles can be sniped really easily by the Tau. So going with a mass infantry tends to work a little bit better in my experience, because I find that vehicles are usually a liability on most matchups. But again, the breachers are just very hard to deal with right now. I have a high suspicion that the Tau are going to have some changes if they ever do a balancing patch here. So I've been a little bit hesitant to put together tips on the Tau yet, because I want to see if they're going to have some alterations to their strategies. But definitely I think this is a good way of doing it. You know, you use your Sister Superiors to get a bunch of buffs going on your guys. They can have the potential to get an extra action point triggered. You can give extra momentum, extra HP. You can use the Sacred Saints to get additional armor, additional HP. They can lock guys down. If you get melee range and you can do flanks, you can take out most of the units. The Seraphim have a great, you know, range of movement. They do a ton of damage with those infernal pistols, both the mechs, stealth suits, other hero units, so you can just get a big bang for your buck. I mean, they can even do good damage against regular infantry too, but then they tend to overkill the units, so they're not meant to be used that way. But I definitely think that works out very well. Paragon suits, I think, is a plus or minus. Having those rocket attacks are definitely good to take out some of the infantry, like taking out those breachers like we were. But with a 3-turn cooldown before you can launch all those rockets, I can't say I've ever had a match where I've used all 3 of their ammo out. I've seen people use the multi-meltas with them, and that seems to be pretty effective as well. So you kind of have that super heavy armor penetration builds going for them. I think you could make an argument for the heavy flamers too, but again, unless they're doing a heavy breacher or a heavy pathfinder and you're able to close the distance, that's going to be a lot of points that I think you'd rather have spent on other things so you can try to overwhelm the units. Again, the Riptide, very good unit for the Tau, but I just, for the 300 plus points that you spend on them, I just rarely see other players get those points back to get it to pay for itself. So typically I go with other uses. And then the Pathfinders without their ion cannons, I think that was really a bad decision. And stealth suits without the fusion blasters clearly didn't pay off for them either. I'm not sure if this is a newer player or not, but I think kind of his positioning with jumping across the bridge with the commanders, you kind of overextended yourself there. You triggered a bunch of reaction fires with the Seraphim. Now you may not have, that's the downside to using the jump packs, is you don't know quite the path that it's going to go through. You kind of have some idea, but every once in a while the game will do something stupid where it ends up jumping your guys across a zone of control with Overwatch, where if you would have manually selected which squares it goes across, it would have never triggered. So I'm not sure if that's what happened here, but definitely, you know, using the dual commanders could be very devastating against the Taus, because you have 2 heavy flamer attacks there, and if you end up using those stealth suits and stuff too, they have flamer attacks, so things could get really out of hand quite quickly, and they would all have good damage. And then you could also have, you know, broadsides, other things that can take out the vehicles, and then if you kill the vehicles with units inside it, then they automatically end up getting themselves killed. That kills everybody that's in the vehicle. It's not like it unloads it like some games do. It's like if you're in the vehicle and it blows up, everything dies inside it, and that vehicle will then explode and do damage to everything around it. So definitely a fun matchup here. I hope that gives you some ideas of how to use the Sisters against the Tau forces here. I think, you know, some minor tweaks to the force selections here, but the Hospitalers, you know, staying back, healing your units, allowing you to keep triggering Overwatches, getting the extra AP to get them locked down into melee. I think that's the way to go for these guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.